Hey guys, I wanted to take a look at another content strategy company, and I the microphone out of my face, and maybe just look at some things to that I look for that I would want to question, and also some things they're doing really well. So let's take a look real quick here. So this is Counterpart, and I think they do a good job. Um, counterpartcd.com. That's cool. I wonder what that is. So they obviously couldn't get counterpart.com, right? These days it's hard to get things like that. Um, so one of the messages they have here is first of all, I think their branding is good. I like the typeface they used, and this really makes them look professional. Make your message work. I think that's really broad, but it's a tagline. It kind of has to be. And so, by the way, this is my competition, right? This is the kind of the I'm not trying to be generous or ungenerous. I'm just, this it's a nice brand. Um, okay, want to grow your sales, your whole team needs to be on board. Yes, and I think they're B2B, which means that they're supporting business development. So sales and B2B usually supports business development if it's a service type of industry. And so SaaS would be maybe a little different. Software as a service might be a little different. But so let's look though. So basically, the idea is that in service based B2B, long sales cycle, you're talking with the client for a long time before you really make the deal. You're also, it's more technical, which is, it challenges a lot of people because a lot of people have experience in only one industry, so it's very difficult for them to cross over in other industries. So Counterpart, um, ideally, they have the kind of experience that can get them into other industries, help them understand really what the salespeople are dealing with, especially when it comes to technical things where you're really trying to lead thought, and you can't lead thought in an industry like IT if you don't really understand what it is you're talking about. So if your writers don't understand what you're talking about, they're going to say things that are inaccurate. And I've worked with a lot of engineers who complain about that. They're just like, hey, yeah, usually salespeople they aren't accurate. Marketing people, especially, aren't accurate with what they say. And so when they're talking about a new technology, they just don't understand it. And it's technically wrong what they write. That's a problem. What these guys are focused on is it's all well and good that you have a great message to support sales, but if they don't understand it, then it's useless. And they're absolutely right about this. So they have a whole philosophy here, and it's probably worth reading. It's probably worth reading for inspiration. Um, you know, get yourself a counterpart. So in other words, I think they're the counterpart, right? They're selling themselves. Make your message work. Everybody loves a tool. Sales are up 10% year over year. They all ask, why are we doing so well? I say it's because of the sales materials. And I think that can be with every company, you have to decide, hey, is this something that, like, where's our weak point? And usually for me, or for probably Counterpart, we're probably asking, is it medium or is it message? That is the problem. And those are kind of the big categories of things. If you have no imagination, if you don't know how to talk about what you want to talk about, if you don't know how to inspire confidence in people with your message, with what you say, it's message, right? But if you're just not reaching the right people at the right place, then that's a media problem. And so that's, where are we? What's our media buy? What's our media strategy look like? Not what's our messaging strategy. So I focus on messaging strategy. And look down here. They have LinkedIn, YouTube, Vimeo, and then Behance. So this means they probably have some work they want to show, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Energy, messaging mentality are all trademarks of message mentality. They trademarked. Um, yeah, whatever. Some of these companies, I think, get a little too big for their britches. Like Journey GPS, I could see that being something you'd want to, you know, um, meeting free Friday. It's a cool idea, but trademarking it, really, message mentality, I don't think you can do. I would use that just out of spite, just to prove that they can't, like, sue you for it. I don't want to go to court. I don't want trouble. Um, anyway, it's just kind of funny, some companies. Okay, so let's look. I'm really curious about, let's look at portfolio and then see results, and then we'll be done. Okay. They have a blog. Well, let's go to the blog real quick. Okay, what is message strategy? An official definition. Okay, cool. That's good. The reason this is good is, and what we can learn from it is they are focusing. First of all, it looks nice, right? This whole thing looks nice. I really like the look when you mouse over it. You see, I would have done a less of a change probably, but that whatever. I don't know if that's right or wrong. I just would have done that. What is message? So they're focusing on what's the most important thing for people to know when they show up at this site. They might have this pinned to the top, and they might have things that don't have dates on them, at least not on the outside. So the secret to sales consistency: give your reps a seat at the table. So there's a cool idea here, and I'm like, what do they mean by that? Make sure your team is doing things consistently, independently. Give them a sense of ownership. Okay, good. So the headline is good. The subhead is good. This is interesting. This is way better than some of the copywriting platforms that are out there. Talked with one guy recently, and he's using AI and a real AI champion, and I'm just like, dude, like your stuff sucks, and you're selling it, and it sucks. I would never hire you, And I want to tell him that because I just want I want him to be able to focus his business to where he's really going to be good and really going to be able to help people. But again, how do you say that without being rude? He's not a close friend, so can't really do that. And he's not my client, um, so uh, you know, help your sales team recognize opportunities of visual tools. That's interesting because I think a lot of salespeople, they don't want to read a bunch of stuff. They just want, like, they need to be talked to in their language so they can go out and say accurate things and things that are on strategy with your campaign, so that sales and marketing are working together. And I think that's why these guys, they're really telling that story, that all these things have to be working together. I think their blog is great, just on the outside, and I don't want to dig in and start parsing out their blog posts. I want this to be quick, but let's look at their portfolio. Okay, so they show a lot of visual things here. It doesn't, the portfolio, and to be fair to them, so here's what I'm thinking. There's a lot of visual and not a lot of copy. There's some copy, a lot of visual, but the issue is that it's really hard to show copy. Nobody wants to sit here and like read a bunch of stuff, right? And so to be effective, they want it designed well. And so they want to show some of their designs. And so it's not the best for messaging because design is a less obvious part of it's a more subtle part of messaging. But like this looks great. What does it say? Alert, new special application products is the in the Keel catalog or whatever the brand is. Own your zone, going local in 2022, marketing tactics for Q3, Terminix commercial. Okay. Uh, I'm guessing at the context of this, but I'm not sure, so I'm not going to go into it. Room to grow. What's this? Saalfeld. Um, room to grow. You've got the word. Okay, so I can't really see the copy there. I don't want to click on it. No way. Ah, finally. No way. Ah, finally. Regis. Um, don't know what that is, but it looks fresh, right? I can tell right now that this was thoughtful. No way. Ah, finally. And so it's probably part of a campaign for Regis, and I don't know what it is. I think this is clever. Stay 3 weenie dogs apart. So a lot of people um, were very annoyed by a lot of the weird things that were going on during COVID. And a lot of things felt like, as Americans, now we're being told, you know, basically you have to do this and it doesn't matter. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger said, screw your free speech or whatever. I can't remember what he said. Something like that. Screw your liberty or whatever. But these guys are like, stay 3 weenie dogs apart, which is a lot more fun way to say, hey, remember, try to do this, right? It's kind of like, we're not going to tell you what to do. We're not going to be dictators. We're going to, stay 3 weenie dogs apart. Um, all right, Hammer Mill, total MP, now wildly versatile. So they're selling paper, it looks like, right? Hammer Mill. I've bought Hammer Mill paper. So paper beats cancer. So that's fun, right? Really fun. I don't know what the message is, but it gives me something right away. Paper beats cancer. I think they have some clever writers here. This is a really good design. Let's see, international papers, forest land ownership. So it shows, kind of gives a map of international papers where they own forests, where they can actually get pulp from, I suppose. All right. Fights like a mother, cares like a brother, attorney Lee Gerald, criminal defense. Fights like a mother, cares like a brother. That so this could have been, I'm not saying it was, but a lot of times this kind of copy is based on a little bit of research where you actually talk with people. Um, and it has to be open-ended research. There's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it. And there are people you want doing it and people you don't want doing it. If you want someone who's just desperate for just give me the simple answer, right? Do not have them talk to people and get insights. You want someone who's willing to write a discussion guide, open-ended questions, and get to the just look at the Got Milk campaign. Um, it's a lot of observation and research. But then you can end up with something like, okay, people, criminal defense, I don't know, people who have been accused of crimes probably are looking like, what's your biggest pain point? If you ask them, they might actually say like, well, I don't feel like they're fighting for me. I don't feel like they care about me that much. And and you might even ask them like, who does? Oh, well, my mom will fight for me like nobody else. And who do you talk to? Oh, my brother. You might have seen this in the research, and so that may be where that's from. Weenie races, yes. Rat race, no. That's fun. Save a small fortune, that's fun. It's for FedEx, so FedEx is one of their clients. That's great. I mean, that's a real feather in their cap, I think. But going back to this one, I think this depends on the brief, whether this is good or not. The city of Germantown. Weenie races, yes. Rat race, no. City of Germantown, a commercial appeal, top workplace, 2 years running. So I'm guessing this is recruiting. So the city, I don't know if this is like an employee benefit. Um, it kind of feels like it is. I just don't know. What are they? Do they? I think the confusing thing for people who look at the ad is going to be, so do I do? I get to do weenie races, or is it that the city does weenie races? And it's that kind of city, but there's no rat race. That might be what it is. I think that's where that's a little bit confusing. If there was a tiny bit of copy in here that would explain that, I think it would have been stronger. A tiny bit of copy that would explain, what this means, would have been great. And the nice thing is, my philosophy is that you can have this, you can have the city of Germantown or work for the city of Germantown, and then have like 3 or 4 sentences down here. And if people don't want to read it, they don't have to. But they're going to see this and they're going to see this and they might even see this, right? Especially if you left it that size. Having a little bit of copy in there that they don't read, not the end of the world, as long as they kind of get the idea from this stuff. And if they're like, what do you mean weenie races? Well, then they can read the body copy. Guys, this is good work mostly, right? This is really good stuff, I think. What financial planning is like. By the way, this company is very big. They're one of the bigger ones I've seen for content strategy. What financial planning is like. So this looks nice, right? This looks like hand drawn, and it's something I would want to read because it's not the normal. It's funny what happens when you do something that's just a little bit different and it cuts through. It doesn't look like your typical ad. It really cuts through. And even their copy cuts through because it doesn't look like an ad. It looks like this looks fun, and that's going to get people's attention right away. Because what ads are we used to looking at? One image of two business people shaking hands, right? We're not used to looking at things that are a lot more personal like this and feel more genuine and thoughtful. This has that same look. So what financial planning is like, urge to have a plan, meet with an advisor, get excited, back to busy life, nothing happens, right? And then you like normally this is the process. So my assumption is that they're going to say we do it differently and we really help you get past this point, and so you actually do something actually does happen. We realize what you're going through. Chartwell realized wealth. So Yeah, the hint is that they're going to fix that problem. Feel like your old self again. Ageless men's health. Okay, cool. That logo stinks. I would wanted to redo that logo. But anyway, feel like you're the crossing out can be a really good device in things, especially if you're making a contrast and it's a billboard. So billboards are 7 to 10 words, one, two, three, four, five, six. So great, right? And then a logo. Crossing that weight, one, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, I counted that one. So that's great. I don't really know what value it is, but it does visually. I think it works. I don't know what logical value it has, like your old self, yourself. I don't really know the difference between that, but again, if they did research and they found that a lot of people were like, "Yeah, we don't the we don't want to feel like our old self. We want to feel like ourselves." Then this has meaning to that audience. So that's one thing we have to remember is we're not always part of the audience, so we may not always know. Um, okay, what's this one? Squeeze the most out of your 9 to 5. Okay, so hammer mill. So I think maybe what are they saying that hammer mill paper makes your 9 to 5 more productive, makes you more efficient because of their paper. I think that's an interesting statement. I think one of the things that we try to do with marketing messaging is to make a mountain out of a molehill. So something that seems small, we try to make it big. I don't know if they pulled it off on this one. I think it's a cheap, probably what the client didn't approve what they created. I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt. The client, here's what maybe happened, right? The client didn't approve anything that was good. And so they ended up having to compromise with something that the client could understand and squeeze the most out of your 9 to 5. The puns are they don't make you look they're not intelligent. They don't make you look like a thought leader, and that's why I don't like this for B2B. It doesn't make you look like a thought leader. All right, cool, good. So much for that. Let's see the results. Let's look at what we have. Let's talk numbers. What's the real impact of messaging strategy? Okay. Real world experience and principled approaches are great, but nothing talks like measurable results. So basically, they're saying, like, yeah, we do have real world experience, we do have principled approaches, but nothing talks like measurable results. And when you apply message strategy to your sales and customer communication, you'll find plenty to chat about. Okay. 108% increase in online course completions. Okay. Um, cool. Um, how much did they spend to get that 108% increase? So it's basically more than double, right? Um, what did they spend? Did they spend more or did they spend the same? That is kind of like the question is efficiency, right? It's not how much you did. So like, think about a sports team. They, oh, we got so much better between this year and last year. Oh, yeah. Well, how much did you spend on star players? Oh yeah, we basically bought all the talent whose contracts were expiring and signed them to 1 year deals, All right. Well, cool. Great. Hopefully you did better. You're trying to buy a championship. Cool. It's going to cost you a lot of money for that, right? So lots of teams have done that and have ended up failing. So, okay, 30,303 plus entries to this FedEx sweepstakes thing, right? Great, but how much did you spend? 6,694 page hits, product launch website. Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna look up what a hit is because I think a hit is just a lot more than visits. Stand by. Recording? I think so. Okay. What's the difference between a hit and a visit site? It's probably going to tell me a hit and visit are different web analytics metric. Requests made to the server for any file. Yes. So in other words, if you load a page, if you loaded a page, Okay, example user loads a web page with 5 images, one CSS file, and one JavaScript file. 7 hits, right? So one web page load would be 7 hits in this little sample situation. And so there can that's I'm not sure that's honest counting, right? Because hits and visits are very different. I know that in the TV shows when the girl who's a marketer talks about hits, but really it's visits or unique users or things like that that are the most important. And so what I want to know is will they tell us how much they spent on this campaign? Let's see. Okay. Increase in online students, inflation, PowerPoint one sheet spring. Okay, good. How much did they spend? Oh, that's interesting. Primary research, good. Positioning, good. Craver, yeah, yep. Project management, yep. Yeah, so good. Message strategy for sales enablement. And this is great, but like, how much did they spend? I don't see it in here. I know I'm just skimming, but I don't see it in here. So without knowing that, it's really hard to know. Um, but one thing's for sure, they did get a 108% increase in online course completion. So whether they were efficient with that money or not, whether their message was good enough to make a change or not, they at least knew how to do media bias. So you can at least look at this and say, you can give them a call and say, hey, how do I know, right? You know, that you guys are efficient. Like, what makes you guys efficient, right? So that would be an interesting thing to know. That's what I would want to know. All right, so I think we've done a pretty good job. I think they're probably really good. They're probably big and expensive, but they're probably good. So I'm happy with the review. I think we learned a few things. I think there's some things I think I can take away from this that will um, that'll help me. It's good to know what other people are doing, and it's also good, hopefully, for you guys to be able to figure out, hey, who do you want to work? How do I choose someone? How do I choose someone who can help me with this work? So, hope that's been helpful, and we'll talk to you next time.